Hello there and welcome to A2 Maths from June 2018, paper 1, and here we're looking at question 8, a trigonometric context question. So the depth of water d meters in a harbour on a particular day is modelled by the formula d equals 5 plus 2 sine 30t, for t being in between 0 to 24, where t is the number of hours after midnight. A boat enters the harbour at 6:30 am and takes 2 hours to load its cargo. The boat requires a depth of water of at least 3.8 metres before it can leave the harbour. Part A is find the depth of water in the harbour when the boat enters the harbour. So, what we're going to do then is we're going to turn 6:30 into some decimal time, which is 6.5 hours. So that's the value of t we're going to be substituting in. So d is going to equal 5 plus 2 sine of 30 times 6.5. Now 30 times 6.5 is 195, so it'd make more sense for this question to be in degrees mode. So make sure your calculator's in degrees mode when you work out this question. So it's going to be 5 plus 2 sine 195, and the answer here is 4.48 meters. So make sure that your degrees are in, or your angle of, your measure of rotation is in degrees mode. Reason being is that the thing that we were signing was 195, and that's a clear indication that that's quite a big value, and when there are big values inside a sine thing, it's generally degrees. Moving on to part B then, find to the nearest minute the earliest time the boat can leave the harbour. So it's going to take 2 hours to unload, so it potentially could leave at 8:30 am. If the depth of the water is below 3.8 meters, however, it might have to wait till later on in the day. So it could be 8:30, it might be later on in the day. The only way we can tell is when we set the depth equal to 3.8. So 3.8 equals 5 plus 2 sine 30t. Now remember, t is a value that's in between 0 to 24, so that when we use 30t inside a sine function, it's going to be from 0, 30 times 24, to 720. So my angle that I'm working out is in between 0 to 720. So first thing I'll do is I'll take away the 5 onto the other side, minus 1.2 equals 2 sine 30t. Divide by 2 and I get minus 0.6 equals sine 30t. So now in degrees mode I need to now do sine inverse minus 0.6, sine inverse minus 0.6, and I get minus 36.8687 really. Let's work out what the next solution would be from there. So it would then be, so this is a minus value, isn't it? We can't have minus values. So the next one potentially is going to be 180 plus 36.87. So that's going to give us 216.87. Or potentially the next one on from there, we might need to use the next one, 360 minus the answer is 323.13. So these are our two solutions that we potentially need to be working from. We're going to set both of these equal to 30t. So 30t equals 216.87. So let's now divide this by 30, and we get 7.229. Now that's too early for the ship to leave because it takes 2 hours to leave. So alternatively it would be 323.13. Divide that by 30. And we get 10.771. That's going to be after 8:30. So now what we need to do is convert 10.771 into decimal time. There's actually a button on your calculator for that. So just press that little button. It's got a bunch of commas on there. 10:46 and 15 seconds, but it's to the nearest minute, so yeah, just 10:46 a.m. So that's after it can leave. 8:30 it can leave by, but it'll have to wait until 10:46 to be able to leave. So there we are, quite a tricky 5 marks for that question there. It took me a bit more than 5 minutes, but you've got a bit spare time in the exam anyway. So there we are, that's 5 marks for question 8. Let's now move on to question 9.